Illegal. Napoleon.
A high-stakes political showdown in Thornton Township has sent shockwaves through the community, leaving current supervisor and embattled political figure Tiffany Henyard without a spot on the Democratic ballot. The drama unfolded at Tuesday night's caucus, where residents and officials gathered for what became a heated and controversial event. After years of holding key positions, Henyard found herself at the center of political and personal strife, her leadership questioned and her candidacy rejected. This was no ordinary political gathering. The first caucus in Thornton Township in nearly 3 decades attracted hundreds of residents eager to vote and voice their opinions. But as the night unfolded, tension filled the air, accusations of foul play surfaced, and Henyard.
I will be suing everybody tomorrow. This is illegal.
This is illegal in your opinion?
Illegal.
Okay.
Known for her bold and often polarizing demeanor, vowed to fight back. Her claims of an illegal process and threats of lawsuits only added to the unfolding drama, leaving the township in political turmoil. As Henyard's name is excluded from the April ballot, questions loom over her next move and the future of Thornton Township. With her only option now being a write-in candidacy, the stakes are higher than ever. What does this rejection mean for her leadership, and will the residents of Thornton Township embrace a new era of governance in 2025? The scene outside Thornton Township's auditorium on caucus night was a mix of anticipation and impatience. Residents lined up early, bundled against the cool evening air, eager to cast their votes in a process many had never experienced before. The buzz of murmured conversations filled the air.
Let's talk about it. I mean, your concern is you brought people in to pre-bus, correct?
All the people outside. They let one person in.
With snippets of speculation and debates about the evening's outcome rippling through the crowd. Some supporters waved campaign flyers, while others huddled in small groups, exchanging knowing glances and nods of agreement. Inside the auditorium, the energy was even more intense. The air crackled with a blend of excitement and tension as more than 600 residents packed the room to capacity. The township's first caucus in nearly 30 years had drawn a diverse crowd, longtime political observers, curious newcomers, and passionate supporters of various candidates. The chatter grew louder as the start time approached, only to be interrupted by occasional sighs and murmurs of frustration as people glanced at their watches, waiting for the proceedings to begin. The stage was set for a dramatic night. The township, known more for its quiet suburban demeanor, had transformed into a hub of political engagement. For many, this was more than just a vote. It was an opportunity to shape the township's future. As the seats filled, late arrivals squeezed into standing room-only spaces. Their faces reflecting determination and a growing impatience. Outside, some residents who couldn't get in exchanged complaints, further adding to the charged atmosphere. This unprecedented turnout underscored the stakes at hand. It wasn't just about Tiffany Henyard or Napoleon Harris. It was about the collective hopes, frustrations, and demands for change in a community that had been largely overlooked in state politics for decades. The night promised to be one for the history books. At the heart of the night's drama was Tiffany Henyard's controversial approach to securing her candidacy. In a move that drew widespread criticism, Henyard arranged for township buses to transport her supporters, primarily seniors, to the caucus venue. The tactic, which she described as ensuring accessibility for all voters, was seen by many as a calculated effort to bolster her support base. However, the strategy backfired when several of her supporters were unable to enter the packed auditorium, leading to visible frustration and accusations of mismanagement. Critics pointed out the ethical concerns surrounding the use of public resources for what they perceived as a political advantage. One resident outside the venue voiced their frustration. She brought them here, but what was the point if they couldn't even get inside to vote? Inside, the atmosphere grew tense as accusations of procedural irregularities began to surface. Henyard, known for her combative style, did not shy away from addressing the situation. Taking the microphone, she lambasted the process, calling it illegal and vowing to take legal action. "I will be suing everybody tomorrow. "This is illegal," she declared, her voice rising above the murmur of the crowd. To Henyard, the caucus rules established by State Senator and Committeeman Napoleon Harris were intentionally skewed to sideline her. Harris, however, dismissed her claims, defending the process as both legal and fair. "This is a tradition for many other townships around the state," he explained. "The rules were set in accordance with democratic principles, and everyone had an equal opportunity to participate." Harris's calm demeanor starkly contrasted with Henyard's impassioned accusations, further highlighting the division in leadership styles. This clash of perspectives underscored Henyard's polarizing governance. Her supporters praised her for standing firm against what they saw as an unjust system, while critics viewed her actions as a desperate attempt to cling to power. Henyard's bold rhetoric, "This is a process that has been going on way before me, and I'm exercising my rights," only fueled the controversy, casting her as a leader unwilling to accept accountability. Ultimately, Henyard's actions and fiery responses painted a picture of a leader fighting to maintain relevance amid growing opposition. Whether this defiance was a testament to her resilience or a reflection of her contentious leadership remains a subject of debate within Thornton Township. The Thornton Township Democratic Caucus, a quasi-primary election process, carried significant weight in determining the township's political future. For the first time in nearly 30 years, residents gathered to nominate Democratic candidates for key township positions, including the highly coveted supervisor role. The caucus, held under the leadership of State Senator Napoleon Harris as committeeman, was a rare and historic political event in Thornton Township. The process itself was straightforward yet pivotal. Residents, after lining up early, entered the packed auditorium to cast their votes. Once the ballots were tallied, the results sent shockwaves through the room. Incumbent Supervisor Tiffany Henyard, a polarizing figure in local politics, was excluded from the Democratic ballot. Instead, Napoleon Harris emerged as the chosen candidate for Township Supervisor, securing the nomination and effectively becoming the Democratic frontrunner for the April consolidated election. Henyard's exclusion marked a dramatic and symbolic political defeat. Her emotional response to the outcome was palpable as she addressed the crowd, visibly upset and defiant. "This is illegal," she proclaimed, vowing to challenge the process. Despite her protests, the caucus result stood, leaving her only one option: to run as a write-in candidate. The public reaction in the room reflected a community divided. On one side, there were residents who cheered the decision, viewing it as a necessary step toward new leadership. "It's about time we had change," one attendee remarked, echoing the sentiments of many who had grown frustrated with Henyard's administration. On the other side, some of Henyard's supporters expressed disappointment and anger. "I wanted to vote for Tiffany," a senior citizen lamented, adding that the process felt unfair given her inability to cast her vote due to the crowded venue. The mix of satisfaction and discontent highlighted the polarizing nature of Henyard's leadership. For her critics, the caucus was a victory for accountability and transparency. For her supporters, it was a reminder of the challenges she faced as a leader fighting against a system they viewed as rigged. This decision not only marked a turning point for Henyard, but also set the stage for a contentious campaign season. With her name off the ballot, her path to political survival now rests on the uphill battle of convincing voters to write her name in, a daunting task in an already divided community. Tiffany Henyard's exclusion from the Democratic ballot carries significant implications for Thornton Township's political landscape as the April consolidated election looms. For Henyard, this defeat marks not just the loss of a nomination but a formidable challenge to her political survival. Her only remaining option is to run as a write-in candidate, a daunting and often unsuccessful path in modern elections. The caucus defeat also raises questions about the broader perception of Henyard's administration. Her opponents argue that this result is a reflection of growing dissatisfaction with her governance, amplified by controversies surrounding her use of township resources and allegations of mismanagement. The decision of the Democratic caucus to back State Senator Napoleon Harris signals a desire for change among local party leadership, further isolating Henyard politically. For Henyard, the implications of this loss extend beyond the immediate election. Her defeat calls into question her ability to maintain public trust and navigate mounting opposition. While her supporters argue that she still has a loyal voter base willing to support her as a write-in candidate, the odds are stacked against her. The caucus results not only signify a setback, but also challenge her narrative of strong leadership and resilience. The public reaction to Tiffany Henyard's leadership and her exclusion from the Democratic ballot reflects a deeply divided community. For some, her removal from the nomination process is seen as overdue accountability, while others view it as a setback for a leader they continue to support. This polarizing dynamic highlights the complex relationship between elected officials and the citizens they serve. Critics of Henyard see her exclusion as a necessary step toward better governance in Thornton Township. Many residents have voiced frustration over her leadership style, accusing her of prioritizing personal interests over public needs. Comments like, "We sacrifice 32 minutes to someone who doesn't respect anyone's time but her own," and "This is about restoring accountability," capture the anger of those who believe she has failed to deliver as a leader. For these residents, the caucus results signify hope for change and an opportunity to elect new leadership. As Thornton Township heads toward the April election, the stakes are higher than ever. The question remains, can Tiffany Henyard overcome this setback, rally her supporters, and prove that her leadership is still what the township needs? Or will this moment mark the end of her political dominance? We invite you to share your thoughts. What does leadership accountability mean to you? Will Thornton Township residents embrace change or stick with familiarity? Stay tuned as this political drama continues to unfold, and don't forget to follow for updates on this evolving story.